in Omonoia.
And we called taxi, and with Kilian, I opened the door behind, I put him in the taxi, and I closed the door, and I want to go inside, and Kilian go out.
You're gonna get someone messaging you afterwards saying, "Why did you mention me?"
Hey, fuck them. She say, I cry because you are here today.
Edo, welcome to another edition of the No Choftes podcast. There's 2 podcasts in the space of 3 hours. I'm your host, Stel. I've got a very, very special guest with me. As you can see, this young, handsome gentleman from the Gate 7 International Pod. Hey, don't hide. Come on. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Costa, welcome back, brother. You good?
What's up, man? Yeah, good to be back.
Long time no see.
Yeah. I didn't see you in London.
No, we didn't. I didn't. It must have been your doppelganger. Here we go. Look at this guy bantering you already. Look at this guy. The disrespect, man. The disrespect, Lambro. Disrespect. Without this guy, I don't know, man. I don't know. Bruno is coming too. God damn it. Is that a bad thing? I don't know. Anyway, listen, we're here to talk about Bruno Felipe. I like to call him the Prince of Sao Paulo, or Brunaldinho, or Joga Brunito. There you go. That's a new one. We're very excited about this one.
You can forget about Joga Bonito, mate.
Come on.
I don't mean to put a downer on it, but we'll get into it.
Let me tell you something. There was no... The thing is, for me, this move came right out of the blue. And I'll tell you why. We've been linked with him the past 2 transfer windows. And the thing is, as you know, what journalism is like, you've got a lot of lazy journalists. They'll repeat one story or regurgitate another rumor. But obviously this one, there was a lot of truth in it. He's come on a free transfer. I'm quite excited because I don't believe what I see when it comes to YouTube, because I can make myself look like Leo Messi on YouTube. However, I've heard good things about him. He did pretty well in Moldova. So what can you tell us about this guy? Because I know you've made a few appearances at Olympiacos, but yeah, what do you know about him?
I mean, look, his time at Olympiacos was pretty forgettable in a sense that he played about 9 games in the regular season and six in the playoffs. Made some appearances as a sub in Europe as well, but I mean, 0 goals, 0 assists. His best football for me was when he was back at Atromitos. Atromitos is like a mid-table team that a few years back were kind of creeping up into European places in Greece, and they had a good Austrian manager who'd brought him in from Lask. That's an Austrian team, and he was on loan at Atromitos, and a Brazilian player, fast. Playing in a system where essentially, Atromitos were a team that would not exactly park the bus, but they'd play behind the ball, and he would, he'd use his pace to get in behind teams like us that would play very high up the field on the halfway line. And from time to time, he would expose us. And then, it kind of became one of those perennial rumors, every summer that Bruno was on the list and Pedro Martins liked him. And the transition from, that kind of football team where the team is predominantly sitting back waiting for the counter-attack to going to a team like Olympiacos where we play possession football, we're looking to break teams down 9 times out of 10. It just didn't really work for him. I remember he came on as a sub in the qualifiers of the Champions League against Başakşehir in Martins's first season, and he gave away a penalty for stupid foul in the box. Could have got red carded, and that's 20 minutes on the pitch. So you can see the inexperience. But yeah, mate, like that gives you a little bit of a portrayal of the player's style. Like he's not.
What year was this, by the way, when he joined you? What year was this where he played?
Martin's first season, so I want to say 2018.
So that's 4 years ago. So he was 24, 25.
Sorry, that's a lie. 20, yeah. So it was his second season. 2018 was the second season when we were doing Champions League qualifiers. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Got you. Now, the only reason I asked is because I'm thinking, well, you know, perhaps he's matured since then. Perhaps the club of Olympiacos' size and the expectation wasn't to his, I don't know, liking. I don't know, maybe the pressure. I don't know. I mean, I'm excited about this because this is a signing that has been made by Darabuluzzi, who's the assistant coach. And we were told that Lennon had the keys to the club and he'd be making most of the decisions, if not all of them, from top to bottom. So for him to be happy with the transfer tells me that he obviously believes in the player. I really don't know. But again, I'm excited about this. I am, contrary to what you said.
No, I mean, you never, transfers are always a little bit hit and miss. I mean, he didn't get steady games at Olympiacos. It's a difficult club to break into a team, particularly on the wings. I mean, we've had some great wingers over the years, and everybody expect them to live up to players like Djordjevic or Galetti, Miralas. So, obviously it didn't work out for him at Olympiacos, but at Omonoia, I think if he gets a good run of games, and it always depends on style of play, who's around him. He's not a terrible player by no stretch of the imagination. Like I said, he's got a lot of pace. He can cause problems. He's not afraid of running at defenders. He'll knock the ball past defenders and then try and beat them. Yeah, final ball's not the best, but if the final ball was there, he'd be playing in a top league. He wouldn't be playing in Greece or Cyprus or Moldova. His numbers look good from the Moldovan league. I don't know what the level is there, but Sheriff beat Real Madrid at the Bernabeu this year. So it goes to show, like, if there's a team there and there's a way of playing and a style, he can fit into that, be it as a starter or as somebody that comes off the bench to do a job. I think tactically he's probably improved over the last couple of years, and that experience that he had against Başakşehir in the Champions League a couple of years ago, it was experience. Like, it was a negative experience, but he's probably turned that into a positive, and I think he's improved his defensive positioning, and he's a bit wiser from that experience as well.
Lambro's got something here, which I'm sure you know about. I don't know anything about, in all fairness.
I think he's I think he's referring to Bruno's how to call it. He likes to party. So,
right. Okay. Was that then? Was that then or now? Because I know from what Roy told me, his wife is Greek.
It could be right. I don't know that, actually. Roy's got some insider information, but again, like, he's been in and around Greece for quite some time. He spent like a couple of years at Atromitos, like over a year with us. And this incident Labros talking about was during COVID. He was out at a COVID party with Ruben Semedo, of all people, and Lazar Angelovic. Don't need to go into Ruben Semedo, but just, if I can just call him a royal fuck up and waste of talent.
Jesus. Well, look, I remember we had a similar conversation about Maxi, and you were saying if Henning Berg could get the best out of him or get something out of him, he'll be a quality player. We saw glimpses under Berg, and in Maxi's last few weeks at the club, especially in the cup games when it mattered, he really, really stepped up. A lot of people asking about Lovera. George has asked, does Costa think a loan move for Lovera back to Omonoia is possible? Is Olympiacos going to wait for a proposal to sell him? You and I have spoken about Maxi, and I'm not going to say too much about what I know, so I'll let you take the floor first about this one. Sorry, no pressure.
No, I mean, I told you, like I said last time when when you invited me to talk about him, he's still a young player compared to Bruno. Bruno's 28, I want to say. He's 28 years old. Lavera's going 23, 24. Can he go back to Omonoia? I wouldn't rule it out because we're still a bit unsure whether he's actually going to turn up at training camp next week. So our preseason starts on the 14th, and there've been some reports by, I would say, credible journalists close to the club saying that he will be at preseason. He's been invited to preseason, and some others are saying he's not. So it's a bit of a mystery at the moment. There are some rumors going around that he might be used in a potential deal to bring Abubakar Kamara from Aris to Olympiacos, and he might be part of an exchange deal with them. There is a little bit of talk around that, but unless Maxi does turn up to training next week and he goes Michael Jordan, but football, football Michael Jordan in preseason, I can't see him staying and saying that I think he does have another year or two left on his contract. So I wouldn't rule it out. From what I hear, he did pretty good for you guys. And by the end of it, Neil Lennon had managed to get him to perform to a standard. So I wouldn't rule it out.
Well, as far as I know, Lennon is very keen on bringing the player back on loan for one more year. Now, if we were to get that deal over the line, that would be great for us. Obviously, it will be reducing your wage bill. That's another player off the books. And also the opportunity to put him in the shop window for next season, given that we're guaranteed Conference League football. And we're only, 2 games away from the Europa League. We've got a playoff. So, look, I think signing him again for us will be fantastic. As I said, he was immense the back end of this season. He was unfortunate in the cup final, given the fact that we played with 10 men and he had to slip in a number 10 role when we only had one player up front, and with wing backs, one of them being Loizu. It was very difficult. He was taken off before full time, if I'm not mistaken. And at one point, he was actually having a go at Tim Matabs, our striker, for not tracking back enough. I don't speak Spanish. He doesn't speak Greek. I can't quite understand how they communicated, but you could tell I counted 3 times he had a go at Tim about this. But yes, I think that he's a very, very good player. And if we can get him to play with Bruno on either flank, because Bruno can play wide left, wide right, if I'm not mistaken. He likes to drift in from the left-hand side, very similar to Maxi. But if they can switch flanks as well, that would be an option, because I think that's something you rarely see these days. Wingers playing either inverted wingers, but switching flanks from time to time. So that could be an exciting prospect. We need a lot of pace in our team, and those two will definitely bring that for sure.
No doubt. Yeah, in terms of pace, you're definitely getting that with Bruno, for sure.
So what else can you tell us about this lad? Obviously, you mentioned earlier there isn't really much else that you know about him, but in terms of his statistics, I can't really judge, to be fair. And I'll tell you why, because when you look at stats, they perhaps don't tell you the bigger picture. I'll give you the bigger picture, because what a player does off the ball is just as important as what they do on it. Is he the kind of player that will track back and defend? Do you know?
Yeah, I think, like I said, he's become more tactically aware over the last couple of years, for sure. I think the experience at Sheriff would have done him a lot of good. He was deployed at right back sometimes as well, because we had an issue at right back when we had Dorosidis in Martins' first year, but then Dorosidis retired, and we were looking for a right back. I think Rafinha came in the end to kind of fill in, but Bruno was also filling in at right back for a period. So yeah, mate, I think I think he's a system player. So if you fit him into a system, he'll do the job. And there are some other comments in there. There's one from Stavro, Olympiacos signing 20 players a year and loaning loads out, and it's difficult, like I said, to break into the team. and to get a regular time on the pitch. You look at some of those appearances, I think it says 15 appearances in his last season at Olympiacos. Probably all of them minus 1 or 2 were 15, 10-minute subs, you know. So hard to judge, but again, just probably not up to the standards that we're used to.
All right, no worries. Well, I'll tell you what, let's sidestep a little bit here because we've had a comment about Nottingham Forest, and he'd like to know, Michalis would like to know your thoughts on Nottingham Forest reaching the Premier League. To be honest, did we even have this conversation when we met up the other day? I can't even remember if we spoke about Forest. We spoke about so many other things, people that we know that randomly just pop up. We won't go into that. But yeah, Forest back in the Premier League. Marinagi's at the helm. How did you feel when that happened?
Look, I think there's been a lot of fanfare in Greece about this, and even on the day of the final against, was it Huddersfield's? I mean, I went down to a bar. I was in Greece, and it's just like Greek fans watching Nottingham Forest. There's like a lot of interest, be it Olympiacos fans or fans of other teams, be like, Marinagi's is this, that, the other. I think if you look back a couple of years, so no, Marinagi's went there 5 years ago, said, my goal is to get the team back into the Premier League. They haven't been there for more than 20 years. So, mission accomplished for him, like, respect. There's a lot of things I can say, man. It's like, basically, if you compare the way the clubs run at Nottingham Forest, there's no interference. Like, Marinakis has basically handed over the keys to, was it Dane Murphy and the manager, and just let them do their job, and there's no interference. And then when you look back at kind of what's happening at Olympiacos and the amount of people that are or aren't involved in transfers, things are kind of starting to look a bit cleaner and steadier over there. And at Olympiacos, we're having it's a really important summer now. My point being, there were some Olympiacos fans that wanted Huddersfield to win in that game in the playoff final, because there is a feeling of diverting attention. But I think we're talking apples and pears, mate. It's like Nottingham Forest is Nottingham Forest and Olympiacos is Olympiacos, and we're talking about Premier League and the Super League. In that sense as well, the relationship between the two clubs has kind of changed, because Forest fans that we talk to, they'd always kind of, banter with us about us giving them our shit players and them like giving us players like Jacques Carvalho, who, probably not a championship level player, he's not physical, but, he's very technical, he's crafty, creative midfielder who managed to get him over to Greece without talking transfer fees. Like, nobody knows like how that's happened. But now there's kind of a reversal of the roles, in a sense that I think there'll be some players on our team that obviously know that the chairman owns a Premier League team as well. That could be something interesting for us when we're negotiating with players, prospective players. So you want to come to Greece, play here for a year, 2 years, you can then go to the Premier League if Forest stay up, and vice versa. If there are some top end players at Forest that aren't playing well, maybe they could come on a loan to us and help the team and get back to a standard so that Forest can sell them or keep them. So I think there's an interesting dynamic there. I'm not really like one of those that's like super happy about Forest going up or like or the other side of it. I just we have to see how that develops in reality.
I think the interesting thing about this whole situation is that Forest are now in the Premier League, so they'll have to invest to stay up, because obviously they've made, 200 million, however much it is, getting into the Prem. But you want to stay there as well. You don't want to be there for one season and then go back down and start from scratch. So recruitment is key. But then again, you guys need a big reshuffle, as far as I understand anyway. So if you see, for example, Nottingham Forest spending £100 million, because it's not out of the question. We saw Fulham spend that much money, Villa spend that much money when they got promoted. So it wouldn't be beyond the realm of possibility that Forest will spend £100 million in the summer. What will Olympiacos fans say if they see Forest spending that much amount of money, and then they're bringing in whoever players that you guys are linked to. And let's get right, Abubakar Kamara, he's not that guy, is he? Let's be real.
I mean, there's already a good example. Kyle Larin, he's a Canadian international striker, been playing at Besiktas the last couple of years. He's a free agent, and he's been linked with us for, I think, over a year now.
But Canada are playing the World Cup, though, aren't they? So if he has an okay tournament, you're looking at a sell-on. Because we bought Ozoha, the goalkeeper. Mm-hmm. We got him on a free, shall I say, because he's a Nigerian international goalkeeper. I think the idea was that Nigeria will qualify for the World Cup, and then we can make a bit of money on him. As it turns out, he made a bit of a mistake, and Ghana qualified instead. Sorry, Karen.
No, I was just saying about Larin. He's been linked to us for over a year, and today we heard from our sources that Forest is likely his destination. He wants to play in the Premier League. I've heard that his agent was at Gareskagi the day that we lifted the cup, and he was having dinner around the execs and so on and so forth. So you could already kind of sense some of the malaise, if I can call it that, around the Olympiacos fans. Like, oh, we were supposed to get him, but now he's going to Forest, and what's the priority, one or the other? I'm really trying not to fall into that narrative at all. I will, and we will criticize the hierarchy for the moves that we make as Olympiacos, positively or negative, like irrespective of Larin. That's just you already kind of, that's one example of where this might start to get tricky or difficult for some fans.
On the flip side, though, you're practically guaranteed Champions League football every season.
We have to start from the second round this year, the second round of qualifiers, and that's only because the Russians got kicked out. Otherwise, I think we were 18th in the ranking, and we managed to climb up to 15th or 14th, I want to say, this year. So I think we're just one step below Cyprus in the coefficient.
Right.
So the lure of Champions League football isn't as apparent as it was in other years, and that means that if you want to attract a high quality player to come and play in Greece, you're either going to have to spend a boatload of money to get them to come to Greece instead of going to a top league, or you're going to have to wait till August for some of the players. And by that point, we might, qualifiers start in July, beginning of July, not August. And you want to build a team, you want to set the style of play, have your squad ideally when you go into preseason, which for us starts in a couple of weeks. So we don't have that advantage anymore of attracting players and saying, Olympiacos plays in the Champions League every year. Is changing, and I've been screaming about need to kind of live up to the reality and adapt our business model, like the way the club works, and those are things that we talk about a lot on our show.
So let's get it right. It's going to be a very interesting summer for your club, obviously.
Yeah.
How many players do you believe, or you guys on the pod believe, need to go? How many need to come in? You won the title at Cantor this season, and I remember watching some of your pods, and it's almost as if, you've won the league, but football's been boring. There's been certain results and performances against rival clubs which should have been a lot better. Is it a massive summer for you guys?
I think this is the most important summer that I can remember. Very close to 2017, when there was the complete overhaul. Like Mari Nagy said, he went to a training session and said, "You're all gone. All of you are gone in the summer. I'm going to replace all of you." And he only kept Fortounis. And that summer, I think 25 players went out, 22 players came in. And that was the beginning of the Martins era. I don't think it will be quite as drastic this year, because there have been a lot of kind of, real life factors that have impacted things at the club. But now there aren't any excuses. Like, we can't say anymore that the club hasn't had any rest. We can't say anymore that, pandemic, COVID, you know, touch wood, like there's none of that during preseason this year, because that was a big problem for us last year. They've had arrests, and now they're going to be under very close scrutiny. And, you know, me and the guys are pretty much saying, okay, we're going to be supportive. We're not happy with the football that we watched last year. And, you know, towards the end of the season, it almost felt like we were trying to give it away, trying to lose the title, trying to do everything to lose it. And, you know, we'd almost said, like, going into the playoffs, like, there's no way this is turning around. Like, I can't even remember how many points clear at the top, like more than 12, 15. And we kept drawing or losing, and PAOK kept losing. And so, yeah, it wasn't fun to watch out Olympiacos this year. How many signings do we need? We want a right back, we want a winger, and we need a striker going into our preseason training, which starts next Tuesday. El Arabi, who popped up in the chat, is out of contract. We're reportedly offering him, 35 years of age, offering him a 2 million year deal, closed contract, 2 years, not 1+1. It's 35 years of age. We're giving him 2 million plus a signing bonus, or rather bonuses of 1 million. That's 3 million if he gets if we win the league, and if we qualify for the Champions League. So that's almost 6 million closed contract for a 35-year-old player going 37. And apparently, you know, he's stalling, and preseason starts on Tuesday, and we don't have our number one striker. I don't think that Camara is a replacement touted, but I've seen it before where we kind of go into the season without key players, and sometimes you get some players that step up and sometimes you don't, and it goes south very fast.
Well, Lambros asked about Camara, and it would probably be one of the most underwhelming signings you guys make, in my opinion. I could be wrong. He might end up scoring bags of goals, but when you think about a player that his most prolific season was when he scored 11 goals in 29 games in the second division of France. He scored 11 goals for Fulham in the Championship across just under 60 games. I think he scored 3 goals in 20-odd games in the Premier League. This guy isn't consistent. Let's put it that way. He's like got 1 goal in 4 games, you know, on average. So I don't know the thought process behind signing this player. Perhaps he's got an agent that is very, very good, and maybe his agent is linked with your club in some way, shape, or form, because you see it a lot. You know, certain agents tout players across, and you know, I don't know. I really can't put my finger on it. I mean, I'm looking at the agency that he works for. I mean, he represents. They got Kante, Benrahma, and that's Konate, who's at Forest. So I guess there's that little link there.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Martins liked Miguel Guerrero a couple of years ago. I don't know if you remember him. Spanish striker. Yeah. It's like, you know, not a finisher. And but he pressed very high up at the field. He'd, you know, run all game. Camara kind of fits that kind of bill. But I mean, Pedro Martins has not exactly been fantastic in his recruitment the last couple of years. There's not. I can't think of one. I can't think of one player that he brought in, like his signing, that is playing at the club. Honestly, somebody.
Do you think he has much of a say though in who comes in?
If the media is anything to go by, you know, Henry Onyekuru came in for 4.5 million last season, and you know, they're trying to get rid of him now. He didn't play the last kind of 2.5 months after we got kicked out of the Europa League by Atalanta. Pepe got shipped off to Portugal on 2 loans. He's not even been invited back to training, even though he's had a great season in Portugal. Lovera was apparently his signing, though that one I don't believe so much. I think it was more one of our Argentine scouts and former players, Chori Dominguez, responsible for that one.
Ibagatha's doing the B team, isn't he? He's got a B team.
He's the coach. Right? Yeah, he's the coach of the B team. Yeah.
Maybe there's something there. I don't know.
Yeah, as Labro says, you don't want to talk about agents and Olympiacos.
Where do we begin? We'll be here all day.
Yeah, you need another pod for that, and we'd definitely be hijacking your podcast to talk about that.
That's not a problem, mate. We've got a lot of Olympiacos fans watching anyway, so it's lovely to hear thoughts from a different supporter from a different club, because all we do is talk about Omonoia on this. So I think it's nice to have a bit of variety, as they say. But bro, do you know what? I don't really know what else to ask you. We spoke about Felipe. We've spoken about your club. Briefly touched on Nottingham Forest. Shall we talk about the Ethnic game very quickly?
I watched
2 wins on the bounce.
I watched a little bit of the second half yesterday. I mean, I didn't watch the first game, but the one thing I'll say is that we're going back to that old winning recipe. 1-0 Greece, game over. And that's, we've never been an entertaining team. Anyone that expects to watch a Greece game and get the popcorn out and say, "Oh, look at that, it's like Jogo Bonito." No, it's never been that. It's like just we were clinical. Bakasetas, for all the shit that we give him, he scored 2 goals on the bounce, and yes, a good start for the Gus Poyet era at the Greek national team. And you guys are in the same group, aren't you? So I think, are we playing you in the...
Yeah, this week.
Playing you this week?
Apparently, yeah. Which, mate, do you know what? I watched most of the Kosovo game and they were turgid. And then they played Northern Ireland and quite unlucky not to get the win, in all fairness. But the thing is, Costanoglu is a very... I don't even want to say pragmatic manager because he's so fucking prehistoric.
Costanoglu is your manager,
mate. 5-2-3 system, mate. 5-2-3 system, and the 2 midfielders that are playing, they're not even holding midfielders. Timada is a decent midfielder, but he gets overrun. Castano is the fucking... I don't even know why he's even in the national team, because he plays in Serie B. Like he joined Juventus, didn't kick a ball for him, ended up at Salernitana, wherever the fuck it was. I don't even know. He's in the team because of his name. That's effectively it. You know. We play 3 central defenders. I mean, yesterday we had Gogic at centre back, who is very, very good. I like Gogic. He's just been released from Hibs, so hopefully we sign him.
Oh, is that Sinis Agokic's son?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Alex Gogic, good player, really good player. We had... Who do we have? Shit, I forgot who we had at the back. We had Correa.
Leif is still play.
I haven't seen him play for a while. I haven't seen him called up for a while. No. So look, we've got Sodirio up front still because we've got no other centre forwards apparently. Even though Gaguli came off the bench, Babuli still plays at 36 years old. Johnny's plays, which is good. I think he's been given his opportunities, but because I think he's joined Sporting Kansas, he's gone from Cyprus. I mean, let's get it right. He started playing football this season in August. He hasn't had a break because he flew to the US in February. He came back for a couple of friendlies, then he went back, and now he's come back again for more friendlies. So the guy's probably knackered. Loizu had an okay game against Northern Ireland before he came off. But we don't look like we can score goals, mate. We don't look like we can score goals. And I think that's one of our main problems. Defensively, we're okay. Our goalkeeper is dodgy, to say the least, Mikhail from Apoel, but they've released him. So the national team is a fucking mess because of the people that are running the ship, so to speak. It's fucking it's dog shit. That's a fucking dog shit, mate. So Life was benched. Okay, yeah, there you go. He doesn't remember.
He's had muscle problems. He tore a muscle. Yeah. But he was playing for Liège, and he's got a year left on his contract. He scored 2 goals. I remember him, man. He was wanted by Olympiacos. I think we bought him and then we just loaned him, and he never played. One of those fantastic deals that we've made over the years. Costanoglu, Urusfeti. Yeah, Costanoglu's an old school manager, man. It's like you've got for me, like I look at some of the attacking talent that you've got in the Cyprus team, and I think you've got better attacking players than we do. Right? Sotirio is. I quite like Sotirio going back to his days at, dare I say, it was Aboel striker, wasn't he?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, he's in
pretty,
Bulgaria now.
He's at Ludogorets. He knocked
Yeah.
us out. Knocked us out last summer from the Champions League. It was Ludogorets that knocked us out. He's a good striker, man. He's been linked with us as well, I think. And of course Loizu on the wings cutting in. So I think it could well be an interesting game, like Cyprus Greece.
Well, it ain't gonna be. Well, listen, if you got insomnia, it will probably be great. If you suffer from insomnia, honestly, but bro, okay, we had Gadelari at centre back. He's ostensibly a central midfielder, but he's been playing centre back for Apollon. Really good player, Gadelari. I'm gutted that he left us, to be honest. Bitta played. Bitta's a good player, but the thing is, yesterday it seemed that he wanted to be the hero. There's a couple of opportunities where, rather than squaring it, he decided to take it on his own and fucked it up. We got Ioannou at left back, who, as you know, was it you? Was it at Forest? Was it at Forest or was it at Olympiacos?
Yeah. It was at Forest. Yeah.
But look, we're lucky that we've got a lot of good young players coming through, and most of them come from Omonoia. Hambo, we've got Loizo, as you mentioned, Johnny's, Wozaz, Kakuli, loads of players. But you need the right manager, you need the right coach, and it just seems that this appointment was made because he probably knew someone at GOP, because I know he was an orthodoxy manager. So, yeah. There you go. Cyprus versus Greece is a very interesting match. Not. We're like, Gadelari's got because Berg didn't want him. Yeah, I know. And look what happened. He won the league with Apollon. I like Gadelari, man. He's a good player. Cyprus so poor, struggling to make chances. Not really good tactically. Greece will take 6 points. Yeah, I agree. He's not just old school. He doesn't know what he's doing.
I was being nice. I have that habit. In English, they say if an Englishman says, "Oh, that's very interesting," it normally means it's bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? As I said, man, we've got so many talented players. Like Spoljaric has done well this season. We still got the likes of Avram in the national team, who's like 35 years old. But I honestly don't know what the thought process is behind this manager's decisions. It's the same bastard system. It's like I keep saying, if you've got two central midfielders, you need them to be holding if you've got three forwards. And neither of them can hold the ball up. They're not quick enough. And they're not strong enough. So it's just a fucking mess, man. Honestly, we need to go back to the days where we make it assimilating players. Players have been in Cyprus for like 5 or 6 years. Yeah. Give them a passport, they can play for us.
Who was the guy? Who was the guy that you had back in the day?
Ralphman. Our guy.
Was that one of yours? It was one of yours, wasn't
he? Yeah. Came from a second division German club, ended up smashing it. I think he got 40 goals one season. And had it not been for the the rankings, he would have got the golden boot. But because the Cypriot League was all the way down there in terms of the rankings, someone else got it. But he'd have won it. But yeah. But what about your national team then? Because I haven't been following them, to be honest, mate. Are there any players that we need to look out for? I know Tsimikas obviously in the team.
Yeah, Tsimikas is great, man. George Baldock made his debut the other day.
Oh, did he? The Sheffield Giant player, okay.
Yeah, so he made his debut against Kosovo. I heard he had a bit of a shaky first half, but that's normal. I mean, it's his first call-up. And he probably barely knows the names of his teammates. Second half that I did watch bits of it, he nearly scored a goal. He could have cut back to make it 2-0. He went for it alone. So like on the wings, I think we're looking quite strong. We've got two players with experience in the Premier League, and Tsimikas got lots of games this season at Liverpool. Got I think 25 games.
Well, they had about 65, didn't they? You had to get at least a third. Fucking hell.
Yeah. Scored the winner in the FA Cup final, penalty. What's this? Yeah, saying that
Minas
Minas
under
Andonil.
Fucking hell! Oh, this is gonna be a car crash, man. This it really is. Just thinking
Hey,
about
mate,
it now. Fucking hell.
to be honest, mate, like from the defense forwards, there's nothing really. I mean, like I said, Bakasetas is probably a player that we could give a little bit more credit to. There you go. He's a player that I've always said that he's played his best football as a second striker. He's not an out and out striker, and he's not a 10. Like they try to play him in the hole or like in a number
Right.
10 position, but creatively, like he'll pass the ball backwards more than he will forwards. What he's good at, is just thumping the ball. He's got a hell of a shot on him. If he gets the ball and like he's got space to just knock the ball out of his feet and rifle it, he'll hit a cannon at the keeper. And he scored 2 nice goals in the last 2 games. So Bakasetas is a more than decent player. He's won the league in Turkey this year with Trabzonspor. Manolis Yobis, I really like as a player, as like a holding player. Nothing like super exciting. It's just like, okay, a poor man's Kante. He's just run everywhere on the field and break up play and get the counter attack going. And he's really useful for Greece. Otherwise, like we're made with some slow players, man. Really slow. Limnios looked decent the other day. He was a bulk player that went to Germany, flopped, looking for a transfer this summer. He looked pretty good yesterday against Kosovo. He's one to look out for as well, I think. Bags of pace. Similar kind of profile to Felipe, I want to see. So watch Limnios tomorrow. So he's got a similar kind of profile. He'll put his head down and knock the ball past the defender and try and get the balls into the box. He's an interesting player.
And what about the Celtic lad?
Giacomakis.
Yeah. Is he going to be a handful?
I really haven't watched Giacomakis play a 90-minute game. I've never watched him play a 90-minute game. So my friends on the pod yesterday say that he was rubbish. Like he's got a poor touch. Like I think if we're playing against opposition that is much better when we're playing a strict kind of defensive counter-attacking system, he can thrive. But he hasn't done it for Greece yet. No, he hasn't done it. It's not the talisman that we need. Anywhere near what Mitroglou was when he was banging form, or Charisteas. Yeah, and then Andreas here. Vlachodimos is a great keeper, man. I mean, Benfica probably try and sell him this summer, 20 million plus.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal for him. In all fairness, I've been watching his games anyway in Portugal and some Champions League, and had it not been for him, Liverpool would have got 8 or 9. So, yeah. Giacomakis is scoring. You know what? You're right. I think he's going to get a hattie. Yeah, with that goalkeeper, I'm sorry, man. Listen, I don't want to shut on the lad because he's just been released and he's still quite young. But nah, man, that goalkeeper, no, you can't. Listen, if you're a goalkeeper and you're wearing short sleeve, you got to be good. Yeah, you got to have some kind of. Do you know what I mean? Fabian Barthez, I know he made a couple of big mistakes, but Fabian Barthez was an elite goalkeeper. He could get away with wearing short sleeves. You know, your goalkeeper, or the say he can get away with it. But Mikhail, nah, man, not after the mistake that cost I bore the title either. Fuck that. Anyway, a couple more comments here. Watched him against Rangers. He's definitely a threat in the air, a bit slow, but there's a goal in him. And who's next? I want Tom Rogic. Right, Yorgo, number 1. We wouldn't be able to afford his wages. Let's get that right. And number 2, he fell out with Lennon when he was at Celtics. I highly doubt he will come to Omonoia. So we just need to trust the process.
Who else have you signed?
Just this summer, we've only signed Felipe. He's the only one.
You signed, to be honest, one more player than we've signed.
Well, there you go. Oh, look at this one. How about the Daniel Sturridge rumor? I do not want this guy anywhere near this club of ours. right? Forget the Liverpool connection. He joined Perth in the A-League, was out for most of the season with an injury. They paid him $1 million, right? $1 million to play out there, and he didn't score 1 goal. What makes anyone believe that he's going to come to Cyprus and do anything? He played in the Turkish league. No disrespect, did nothing there either. So please do not mention this guy, please. And if he does join, we'll back him, but it ain't going to fucking happen. The Ismaila Sora rumors are true, are they? No, it's like, oh, that's a question. Another Celtic player under Neil Lennon. The lad is quite young, but we've got Humble, we've got Asimeno, we've got Bashiru, Mixer signed a new contract, Gusu possibly coming back. Are we going to bring in another central midfielder? Highly doubt it. It's bus and maybes. What's going on with Shehu? Not even a thank you announcement. Is he gone? I don't even know if he's gone. Has he actually gone? Shehu, as far as I'm concerned, he's still an Omonoia player, even though he's out of contract. So I haven't heard anything about him leaving. I know that he wants a ridiculous sum of money to stay, which we're not going to entertain. But as far as I'm aware, he's still an Omonoia player. Artimada. Good player, but he'll probably go to the shit. Barkas to Omonia. If you're making up rumors, listen, you need to find a better goalkeeper than Fabi at the moment, mate. And there isn't a better goalkeeper. Bruv, that guy, honestly.
Does he speak Greek?
No.
Does he learn Greek yet? No.
English and Portuguese, but he's a good lad. I love Fabi.
He's a good
here you go. Here's one for you.
Nah, not happening, man. He'd never be able to go back to Thessaloniki. Like no. Simple as not happening.
Gogit's rumor must become a reality. Valakari, we need. He's got more chance of going to Greece. There's no way Buffalo will sell him to us, especially if Henningberg gets the job, which is looking likely. And they'll probably want about 2 million for him. We don't have that money. Do you reckon Omonia are going to get rid of any more players? Get rid? No. Release? Possibly. Say bye? Probably. But yes, it's transfer silly. Look, the light. See how dark it's got now. Like the brightest thing is my Massiamenos t-shirt, which you can buy from the OLB website. Ian Harks is a good midfielder. That's John Harks' son. He's at Dundee United. I'm going to message John, actually. I've known him for a few years. I'll see if his son is available. What's going on with El Arabi? We've done that. Do you think there's a chance he's going to go to the Middle East, Ray?
I think that's probably what he's waiting for, man. Because even when he signed the contract extension last year, he posted an Instagram picture of him at the Qatari embassy, like drinking tea out of a gold cup. They love him over there. He likes it over there. I think he's gone, mate. I've had that kind of gut feeling about him since January. Like I just didn't see him extending, and I don't see the reason either. It's like it shows me that there's no. I hate to say it. There's no plan B. So let's throw a shitload of money at El Arabi, 3 million a year, including the bonuses, and hope for the best. But
Marko Shepovic is available in the free, bruv.
How old is he?
29, 30. Never know.
It might be better than he might be better than what's it, AK-47.
No, it definitely is, mate. It definitely is. Okay, let's have a look at that. There's a very good backstory. Okay, we'll save that for another time. And another quick question here, if you let. We need a centre back. Who do you have for us?
Centre backs.
Yeah, it seemed like
we got loads of centre backs. Even there, the situation's a bit murky. Probably next season, Socrates and Manolas could be starting. We've got Cissé, but Cissé's probably the only player that we can sell like higher value that had a good season last year. We rejected bids close to 15 million and above a year ago. Bagalianis and Kinkue are two defenders. This one's really interested. Svetozar Markovic. I really liked him. He came to Olympiacos with a reputation like Champions League magazine were calling him the next Sergio Ramos. Some years ago. he played at the beginning of the season in the Champions League qualifiers, was very good, played as a central defender, played as a defensive midfielder too, wherever the manager needed him, and then he just disappeared. There's a rumor going around that it was because he asked to play.
Sorry, I'm using my phone light, by the way. I can't be asked to turn the light on.
The ghosts are turning up behind you. You know, he'll probably end up going back to Partizan, but by God, that would be a fantastic pickup for you.
Yeah, I've heard good things about him. He's quite young though, isn't he?
He's young, man, and like he was captain of Partizan at like 20, 21. He can bring the ball out of the back. Like his passing's pretty crisp for a defender. He's not afraid to get stuck in. Like I'm super disappointed that we haven't managed to do anything with this player. And yeah, he's suing the club now for I can't remember what the word is in English, but yeah, basically he was being asked to go to training at 6 o'clock in the morning, ridiculous times. I don't know. Yeah, he's in a court case, and he's just been disappeared since the start of the season. So if he becomes a free agent, I would throw my money at him if I were you. Very good player with your connections. Get on it, mate.
Brilliant. 2 quick questions. You can answer one and I'll answer the other one. Okay. Your best Olympiacos 11 of all time, bro. Come on.
Oh God. All right. I'll try and do this one. Eleftheropoulos in goal. Yorgatos at left back.
Championship manager legends.
Yorgatos was brilliant, man. One of my favorite players. I mean, the stories about him at Inter, like Christian Vieri wanting him back, like after he requested to go back to Greece. You know, when you're playing with Christian Vieri and Ronaldo, and they're asking Massimo Moratti to bring him back, I think that says a lot. Right back, probably Dorosidis. Centre backs, Olaf Melberg and Avram Papadopoulos in his heyday, like before he got injured. Midfield, Stoltidis and Yaya Toure. Tasty midfield.
I briefly forgot that it was at you guys because he joined from a Belgian team, didn't he? He was from a Belgian team originally.
Yeah, so he famously tried out at Arsenal and didn't get a work permit, but his brother Kolo was there.
Yeah,
he didn't get a work permit, and then he was at Beveren. He was at Beveren in Belgium, and then his agent Dimitri Seluk took him out to Ukraine, Metalurg Donetsk or something like that, and then he brought him to us. He stayed a season, then there was a fallout between his agent and the club. But Yaya Toure played for us before he went to Monaco, Barcelona, and then eventually at City, and the rest is history. Djordjevic, obviously at left wing, Galetti on the right, and up front, oh bloody hell, mate! Up front, I can't not have Giovanni in my team. He's not a striker, but I just put him on the pitch, like let him do what he wants. And then up front, difficult, man. I'm leaving Rivaldo out my team, I'm leaving. That's a hard one.
You left Karambo out of the team as well.
I left Karambo out of the team.
Giannakopoulos.
Yeah, Giannakopoulos as well. Who do you pick up front, mate? He's got Miralas. Even El Arabi has been one of the best foreign strikers we've had. I'd probably, do you know what, mate? I'd probably go Giovanni Rivaldo up front. Or what? Castillo, Neri Castillo. Forgotten about him.
Yes.
Andrea Filemu in Giovanni Kos. Like leaving, yeah. I'm a Giovanni guy.
Right, let's see what I got. This one. This is the one I want to answer. Zahid is without a club. This is a guy that left Apoel last summer. He was linked with us. He ended up playing in a second division Turkish team. I don't know what he can bring to us. For me, I'm one of those really stubborn people. It's like, if you didn't want to join us the first time round, I don't want you the second time. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like, listen, imagine you're chatting up a girl, right? and she's not interested in you because she wants to go with a guy that's got more money, right, or a better car, and then it doesn't work out, and then she comes calling you or WhatsApping you or dropping, sliding in your DMs, oh, do you want to go out? Nah, mate, you had your chance. Fuck off. Anyway, Phile, let's wrap it up at that. We've done almost an hour. Thank you for your time. I know you're really knackered because you've had a whirlwind few days. Moving my phone again because I can't be asked to have a turn on the light. But yeah, thanks for your time. Thank you for jumping on. Plug your shit, as I say.
Thanks for having me on again. I hope it works out with Bruno, first signing of the season for you guys. You can follow us at Gate 7 International. We have Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube channel. Head over there, subscribe. You can get all your updates in English on all things Olympiacos. We try to emulate pretty much what Stel's doing for you guys.
Oh, be quiet. Emulate.
Stel's an inspiration for us, guys.
Yeah, stop.
Thank you, Stel, for everything.
You're gonna make me blush. Fucking hell.
I can see the red light on the top of your bald eagle.
It's like the sun at my house. The sun goes on that side, then the next day, but in the evening it's on that side. It's like the blushing goes from the back to the front. So Anyway, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in. It's been a marathon day. Jesus Christ, we had Kiko earlier with some fantastic stories, and I'm sure Zahari would appreciate him calling him a pig, which was lovely, and Shepa a giraffe. And we know that the Ajax goal was a cross. And obviously Costa here from Gate 7. Shout out to the boys at Gate 7. So until next time, Gobella. Watch out because we've got more